Manchester United smashed 4 goals past Chelsea. They reply with one, 4-1 in the end, and Champions League football is secured for Manchester United. They currently sit third in the Premier League table, and it's a world away from where everybody expected Man United to be, especially after the opening game of the season at Old Trafford against Brighton, where they were beaten 2-1 but convincingly outplayed. And then at halftime, the anger and the emotion running through Man United fans, 4-0 down away at Brentford. There appeared to be absolutely no chance, no way on God's green earth that Man United make the top 4. Everybody wrote us off. Everybody predicted we'd finish outside of it, barring Dion Dublin, I believe, the only professional pundit to say United would do it. However, secured tonight in the Champions League. A big summer needed because this Man United team still needs to improve massively. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Nowhere near the finished article. But a brilliant first season for Erik ten Hag, which could be cemented with an FA Cup victory. Massive underdogs against Manchester City, if you look at what most rivals say, most pundits say as well. But a brilliant first season in the Premier League, no doubt. Defied the odds, finishing in a top 4 position, generating the income needed now to go again in the transfer window to improve further. Because next year, we want more possession. We want to dominate more games. And I want more of what we saw tonight, killing teams off, finishing teams off, because it was Chelsea's biggest defeat of the season. For as bad as it's been, nobody's put more than 3 goals past them this year. And Man United did tonight. But this needs to happen on a far more regular basis, more killings. And when we look at today's game in isolation, I was very angry at halftime. I'm not going to lie. 2-0 up, but I was angry. And I was angry because we were conceding too many chances to Chelsea in the first half after taking the lead and dominating for the opening 20 to 25 minutes. But in that opening 25 minutes, it should have been 2 or 3. Sancho with some really poor decision-making on the ball, overhitting a pass to Bruno Fernandes. And then there was twice in the game where easy balls on the inside, and one from him, and we would have taken the lead. He chose to go inside rather than on the outside. And then there was a good pass from Anthony before he went off injured to Martial, and a bad touch let him down. And I felt we should have taken those opportunities, turned them into goal-scoring chances, and put the game beyond Chelsea in that opening 20 to 25 minutes. It was an emphatic start, but a weak and unclinical display from United up front. We got that second goal though at the end of the first half, and we came out in the second, and it was a much improved and better performance. Bruno hitting the post straight away. It felt like almost from the first whistle. Should have scored. A lovely layup from Sancho there. There was other opportunities for us in the game as well. Just narrowly wide. Good blocks from defenders and goalkeepers. And then you're starting to look at it and you're thinking to yourself, are we in a little bit of trouble here? Are we gonna not kill this game off and Chelsea gonna come on strong later on down the line? Remember, in the first half, they had more shots than we did. Second half, we almost doubled their shot count, there's no doubt. But then we get a penalty from a sublime, cheeky, naughty, astoundingly good piece of skill from Bruno Fernandes. Nutmegs Fofana, taken down for a penalty. And once he put that away, it was game, set, and match. United then started to play and have a little bit of fun. A good bit of pressing at the back led to another Fofana mistake. Rashford gets his goal. Good for a confidence boost for him. And it's 4-0. Then it really should have been 5, 6, 7, 8. The post, some blocks, a few little bits of poor finishing. And United couldn't add insult to injury tonight. And then Felix scores a very good goal on the counter. United, for me, I was a little frustrated that we'd switched off playing again. We need to remain more resolute and more concentrated. But overall, a resounding win for Man United. A very good way to end the season with our biggest victory of the season. There's been so many games, and I know that Staffy will say this. I know KJ will back me on this. There's been so many games like today where we should have scored 3, 4, 5, 6, and we haven't done it. That's another thing for Man United to do next year. It's another thing for Manchester United to do next year is to add that extra 1 or 2 goals per game that we're dominating in. Now, I want to talk about a certain player tonight, man of the match again, signing of the season, Casemiro. This man, look, sometimes he's sloppy in possession, But that's never been his game. He is not peak Iniesta. That isn't his game. He is a holding midfield player. But this season, he's developed an eye for goal. 7 goals in all competitions. Another one with his head. He is a secret weapon for Manchester United. And he's been phenomenal at picking up important goals this year. The equaliser against Chelsea. The winner against Bournemouth last week. The opening goals today to help relieve nerves. One in a cup final as well. But his overarching display surrounding that goal today was nothing short of sensational. And they laughed at Man United when they spent 50-odd million pounds on him. Why are you giving him a 4-year deal? He's already past his best. He's absolutely not. United will get another 3 great seasons out of this guy. There's no doubt about it. Yes, we need to build up behind him and have somebody coming through in a couple of years' time. But what a season. What a display. And the no-look pass, and I didn't mention it when I mentioned our second goal because I wanted to do that exclusively when talking about Casemiro. The no-look pass to Jadon Sancho in the build-up to that second goal was naughty. Borderline illegal. Legitimately, Sky have already announced they are not showing the highlights of that on YouTube. It's been moved to Pornhub. Legit. Into the extreme section. It was saucy. It was naughty. It was on a Gary Neville, mate. It was amazing. And Gary Neville means level. It's Cockney rhyming slang. On a Gary, it was a madness. And it typifies his season. And if this man can perform like this in the FA Cup final, there's half a chance. We need a good Bruno performance. We need a good Rashford performance. We need a good Sancho performance. We need our defensive line to be resolute. It's going to be very difficult to beat this Man City team with the form they are in. But we'll cross that bridge another day. So proud of Casemiro tonight. So happy with the boys for the overall season performance. And people in the comment section saying I don't look happy. I am happy. I'm genuinely happy. It feels like the last 5 or 6 weeks have been a bit of a slug. We got dragged into a situation that I thought we were clear of. So there was a bit of frustration there. But from my point of view, also, I'm a little bit red in the face because I went for a hard run today. I finished 3 hours ago and I'm still hot. Legit. That's how unfit I am. But I've already lost 3 pounds this week. I'm doing good. I'll be back in shape in no time. But from my point of view, proud of this team. No doubt about it whatsoever. And I said at the top of the video, and I'll say it again, when you think back to that Brentford game, 4-0 down, Man United season looked as though it could be heading to where Spurs are now, where Chelsea are now. Chelsea on course, by the way, for their worst finish since they got relegated. The worst top flight finish since they got relegated. That is where people believe Man United were heading. So this isn't no finished team. I don't even want to talk about what phase we're in. We know we're in a rebuild. But with the right summer and new owners, this team has got to move towards challenging next year. Not winning, maybe, but challenging, being a better outfit, being a better side. But we sit third in the Premier League. There isn't a person on planet Earth who predicted Man United coming third. The overachievement this season for us is palpable, but you can't rest on your laurels. You can't celebrate that forever. You have to move on. Next year, I look at the fact that we're only 9 points behind Arsenal. I swear we were about 20 points behind them only a matter of weeks ago. We're much further off of Man City, but I want that gap closed next year. By this stage, with 1 game to go next season, I want to be in the mid-80s. Bare minimum, mid-80 points, high 80s even. That's where I want to be next year. I want that improvement because I believe that this team has got there's a skeleton that's been created, a foundation that's being created. It just needs more to be purchased. I'm very, very proud of the team. There's no doubt about it in my mind. From a Chelsea standpoint, listen, I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this, and I mean it. There's some players in your team. Enzo Fernandez is a footballer, a very good footballer. The one I'd be worried about is João Felix, because although he's saying he wants to stay, there's no option. And I do think if Ati don't want him, somebody else with Champions League football might snap this guy up. But there's a player in him. Madueke, there's a player in there. There's some good footballers at your club. They just need a coach, a top quality coach, to get in amongst them, to bring their a confident Chelsea team scores 2 or 3 of those goals tonight. A confident forget buying a killer striker. A confident Chelsea team scores 2 or 3 of those goals. Some of the football, and by the way, some of the football you played away against Arsenal, some of the football I've seen you play this season in multiple games against City has been good. But it's knitting it all together. That is the key component. Terrible season for Chelsea, and I'm sure that there isn't a single Chelsea fan on planet Earth who I don't think there's a single Chelsea fan out there that is looking forward to the final game of the season. They just want it done. Couple of weeks rest, and then start focusing on what their club's going to do to start legitimately rebuilding their confidence, their squad. Well, they've got to rebuild their squad. They've got to knock off their squad down before they add any more to it. But you catch my drift. You know, and there was a part of me, I wanted to win. I wanted to win convincingly tonight on the scoreline. And there were some hairy moments, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And that's for our club to improve on. But I wanted a scoreline like this for a number of reasons. And it has nothing to do with Chelsea. It was all about my club. I wanted us to score some goals and try and get a bit of confidence amongst us again. You saw Rashford's celebration and Bruno's celebration. It's like they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. They've got to lose that in the next week. And hopefully today is some way to doing that. But Chelsea, disastrous season for you, but it's almost over. You can go again. You've got the owners to go again. They're stepping away from football operations, and let's see what Maurizio Pochettino can do and get done. Let's have a look at some super chats here. Debbie says, congratulations, Terry. You can exhale. Yeah, I kind of did a little bit. And it's steaming hot in this office that I'm in as well. I'm going to open the window in a minute because up until Rashford's goal, then I kind of started smiling. I hear you. I don't want to hear a Felix Mount comparison again. We know João Felix is clear, 110%. A sloppy performance from Man United. City will destroy us. If we perform like that defensively, there's no doubt. If we perform like that defensively and we're sloppy when we get opportunities and we're not clinical, we can't win. We absolutely can't win. You're right. Sell everyone. Hall is quality. Starboy is what Dyke says here. Liverpool hold that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see Tom Little backstage. He was very confident we were going to lose these last 2 games we played in. So I need to know where he's at. United can finish 6 points below Arsenal. United more promising. Look, City's last 2 performances against Chelsea and Brighton were not particularly great. They're not on the beach, but they're reserving energy now for 2 finals, which could create their club's greatest moment in history, can propel them into another level of stardom within football. Only Man United and only Man City in this whole country could ever, we would have the 2 greatest achievements ever. Put everybody else to shame. They're not focusing on these Premier League games. Same as Arsenal. Since Arsenal lost this title race, yes, I know their fans wanted to see better performances, but I'm not. I feel United closing the gap on Arsenal in these last 2 or 3 games isn't a true reflection of the distance between the 2 teams. If we end up 6 points behind them, I think they're slightly flatter into Man United. But can we close that gap with a good summer transfer window and another preseason? Yes, absolutely. We absolutely can. Carney was our best player today. Hall closed second. I thought Hall played quite well, to be fair. Barca, Arsenal, Man United, and Newcastle back in the Champions League. What a world! It's like a throwback to the early noughties. It's like a throwback to the Alan Shearer days. Gallagher. Sorry, I say it like the Irish. The Irish say Gallagher. Gallagher is the worst player in Chelsea history, and you should check out some of Chelsea's players before Roman took over. But he really ain't it. He doesn't have any real quality. He has no power, no speed. Yeah, he's a bang average player. I'm happy we've got Champions League. I think the scoreline flattered us. Should have been up 2 in the first half. We must get a striker too effing wasteful. And yeah, you're right. Far too wasteful from Man United. We should have put the game beyond Chelsea before they started having those abundance of chances. I agree. Gav here says, don't care about the result at this stage. Just pleased to see these players start together with chemistry and confidence. We scored some of those chances. Some people would say this time of the year is where it's all about results. And I totally get that. For me, I wanted the result, but I needed a performance of some sort, and there's still some problems. I'm still worried going into that FA Cup final. I'm sure we're going to make some big rests and rotations for Sunday. It no longer becomes as important. I don't think there'll be too many, though, actually. I think our manager wants third place. And you don't want to risk too much and then drop points. Newcastle win, you end up back and forth. Finishing third, I think just feels, reads, and sounds better. Lindelof showed more leadership than Maguire. Well, that's because we know what's what. How to destroy a football club, hire American owners is what Abdi has got to say here. Now I know how you're feeling, bro. I know how you're feeling with that one, 110%. You can come back from it though. It's doable. It's doable. And I do need to say this as well. Where are all the rivals at? I'm not Chelsea fans that are here. Where are all the rivals at tonight? I've never seen a big club get destroyed like tonight, score-wise, and rivals aren't around. Arsenal fans ain't here. All my Arsenal fans in the comments, where you at? The Liverpool fans, where you at? Few City fans there. Where are you all? Where are you all? I don't know where you are. You don't want to join the overachievers party tonight. That's not where you want to be. Love it. I love it. Bitterness. There we go. Right, I'm going to bring my panel out now to have this. It's a big old panel tonight, to be fair. Hit the like and the share button, people. Let's go. Welcome back to the show. It all went weird, a little bit weird on me again there, and I was trying to click all the buttons and it wasn't working. And now that's happened. It's all gone crazy.
Terrence.
It's gone crazy. Do you know what it is? Honestly, it's StreamYard themselves. Evening, gentlemen. KJ, top 4 done for Manchester United.
And everyone, exhale, people. For the people that were stressed, I know Staffy and Neeks, they were calm, so they don't have to exhale. DZ, don't act like you weren't stressed. We were stressed together, my brother. But no, we got there in the end, and in a style that is so Man United. That game should have been 5, 6, 7, no, maybe 8, 9, and 10. It should have been 10-6 to Man United because both teams today, madness in front of goal. But we got the job done today. I was on mission mode. All I care about was the qualifying for the Champions League, and we have done that now. And now that we've done that, we can look forward to the FA Cup final. Whatever happens in that happens. We can look forward to next season, knowing that we'll be playing in the Champions, knowing that, and also being able to attract players that can come and play for this football team and make us better, make us title challengers. Because I believe in this manager. These players fry my brain, as we saw today. But this manager, I believe in. I believe he can get us places. He can take us forward. He can challenge the likes of Klopp. He can challenge the likes of Pep. And we just need the ownership situation sorted. We just need the players to actually get fully behind this guy and improve their levels, improve their mentality and their consistency. And we can go places, man. We really can. Next season, I'm ready. I am ready. I'm a happy guy. Rashi also, shout out, 30 goals this season. The first Man United player to do that since RVP, people. And we've had Lukaku, Ronaldo, we've had Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We've had all these players, Falcao, Di Maria, all these players. But the one player that's shone through, my boy Rashi. And I love that. And people like to bag on him. People like to say all these things. But you know what? Over 100 goals for Manchester United at the age of 25. 30 goals in the season. That's what we like to see. So yeah, big up Rashi, big up Ten Hag, big up the team. Champions League, we're back, baby. Let's go.
I hear you. There is a stat someone tweeted through to me earlier, but you mentioned Jurgen Klopp. Since Jurgen Klopp has been Liverpool manager, he's finished above Manchester United 4 times, and Man United have finished above him 4 times. Now, look, he's won the Champions League and the Premier League, right? So we've got to go and do that. But we definitely can compete with him. We've been competing with him league-wise, for a while now. It's only a bit of joke, people. No one get angry. Neeks, my brother, how you feeling, bro?
Share my screen, please, Terry.
I'm going to share your screen. What you showing us here? What you showing us here? My overlay doesn't support this, but yeah, go on.
Neeks, bro. That guy in the group chat said it was finished at 2-0 at half-time.
Oh,
Neeks,
when are people going to realize?
The football gods, as you call them, Terry, they delivered. Neeks, brother, you need to shut your mouth because everything you say goes the opposite.
Wait, I didn't say
Someone just tape him up, bro, because he ain't helping you, Man United fans, bro.
Wait. I said we're going to lose to Brighton.
No, you said you're going to guarantee the top 4 now. You just say that about
100%. ain't gonna be you lot.
400%.
Wait, it ain't gonna be you lot. Wait, Zain, you need to watch out for Brighton.
Yeah,
Brighton.
you should be upset
Why-
that they won.
What you
They're
talking
taking
about?
your piss.
Right.
Don't forget about us.
Do you know what I
Brighton
like?
and
Right?
Brighton on your neck.
There we go. There we go.
You all laughed at me. You all laughed at me. Well, you're not laughing now. You're not. KJ, how dare you come on this stream and call me out because our team threw away a 2-2 lead against Spurs? Not me, not you, our team. How dare you call me out for backing the manager that you say you back, for backing the players that you say you back? Because I said we're getting top 4. We're definitely getting top 4. I said it. And you doubted me. Zain, where are you, Zain? Nostradamus, where are you? Because you told us it's my fault. You got to shut Neeks up. It's his fault you're not getting top 4. And you are where are you? Where the hell are you? You're in 5th. Europa. Oh, that's where you are. Europa League. Listen, guys, I don't have to get excited about top 4 because I told you already it was already done. But the performance and the result, the performance in the end and the result, listen, I'm happy. Rashford 30 goals. Sancho got his that assist was so the composure, the ball from Casemiro, the composure to then pass it across for Anthony Martial. Bruno gets his goal. Like it was just a good result, clinical. Well, in the end, it was clinical finishing, just what we really needed before the end of the season, before June the 3rd. And I just want to know, KJ, if I dare to be slightly confident going into an FA Cup final as the biggest team in the country, are you going to say that I jinx it if we don't win? Am I allowed to back my team? What's the rules of the terrace these days? Can I back my team? I need to know. Let me know.
The rules of the terrace is if it all goes wrong, blame Neeks, innit? That's what it is. That's what it is.
My thing is this, right? So when it comes to the football gods, my view is this. It's when you gloat too early. So Big Steve called it out today. He had Arsenal fans when they drew to Nottingham Forest in his DMs, sending madnesses to him. We've already won the league. We've got you. That's premature. Basically, it's like don't ejaculate prematurely is what I think the rule is because God likes to expose it. Backing your team's different. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't think the two things should be.
Well, Mr. KJ has been saying that we're out of the top 4 for how long? We ain't gonna win that game. We ain't gonna win this game. And I'm the jinx. I don't know. I'm just saying it. I don't know.
Hey, you can call that reverse judge because here we are, my brother.
No, KJ.
I told you were gonna do that. I told you love doing that, and you were like, "No, Stuffy." This guy said, "I said, KJ, you do that because you can either say, well, I was right, or you can say, look, it's reverse judge, and you said no. And look at you.
I already admitted
You're
I was
doing
wrong.
it now.
Nah, Stuffy, bro. I already admit I was wrong last game, bro. You know what I mean? I was joking.
I wasn't there. Admit it again. I wasn't there.
Listen, I was wrong.
I'll tell you what you
I
missed.
was wrong, innit? And I'm happy, fam. I'm wrong and I'm happy. Let's go.
I get that. In terms of the performance tonight, I want to go to Dizzy on this because I think everybody we could sit here for an hour going how we all feel. We'll get on to top 4 a little bit later again. Talk to me about Casemiro tonight, the 50 million pound 30-year-old waste of money. The steady Eddie. Talk to me, Dizzy. Talk to me.
Man United. I said this when I was in Spain bathing in the sun. I had the girl with me. It was beautiful. I said this. I said Man United are the 3rd best team in the league this season. And you know what? I've been hearing claims of, we're gonna implode, everything is going tits up. Not enough is made about how poor Chelsea are. Not enough is made about how terrible of a manager Frank Lampard is. Frank Lampard might actually be a worse manager than Gary Neville. Honestly.
It's not Mike, he actually is, yeah.
Bro, Chelsea do not show up week on week, and every time he gets in a press conference booth, he says, well, I believe in him. Why? Is it crack? It has to be, because why else do you believe in them, bro? Here's the thing, they had 20 minutes. I think maybe from the 20-minute mark to 15. They had maybe from about the 20-minute mark to about the 35-minute mark. They look like they might do something, We was already 1-0 up. Personally, I was waiting because in my brain, a draw is all we need. So around about 20 to 40 to 35 minutes, they looked like they might do something. And that was it. The second goal went in, and they did not look like they wanted none of it in the second half. Chelsea, more should be made of how poor this Chelsea team is this season. And actually, it shows how small of a club they are. Because if they were any bigger, more would be made of it. If United were in Chelsea's position,
it's made of every single stream. What are you
they
talking
speak
about
with every
Think
week.
about it every single
Every
stream.
week.
What are you talking about?
It's
made every single week, every game. It's talked about. What are you talking about?
How poor Chelsea are.
How poor Chelsea are. How poor Lampard is. I don't know.
It's
where
the same. It's the same.
It's got to the point. It's got to the point where everyone knows how poor we are. There's no point even talking about it anymore.
Now his point is his point is if it was us. No, Don, but his point is.
No, I've got it.
Go ahead, Dizzy. Go ahead.
So you mean to tell me that it's so bad that everybody understands, so we don't need to address it anymore?
Yes.
Meanwhile, when Oli was floundering, you mean to tell me it got so bad that nobody was talking about it, or no?
But people are talking about it
But
today.
we're not saying that.
No,
You said no one isn't
these
talking about
streams,
it.
my bro. In these
streams.
But on
in the
Sky
stream.
Sports and that, I'm hearing radio silence, bro. I'm hearing nothing being made.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the main TV. I don't really watch that.
I'm hearing
Are you watching Sky Sports from a year ago or
yes,
something?
yes,
What
I am.
are you doing?
I'm hearing excuses. I'm hearing. Well,
I think those headphones have been on too long.
There's no excuses. It's all fact.
Every single stream.
We cook ourselves every single week. We cook ourselves every single week.
One at a time, guys. One at a time, please.
DZ, we've got time to cook these man later, my brother. Answer
What?
the question
You're
that
not
Terry
cooked
told
with
you about
bird.
Man
You can't
United.
cook us.
Oh,
With
Casemiro.
bird.
Oh, sorry.
Not you guys. Chelsea as a club. Not
On
you guys.
Casemiro. It is ridiculous that we thought Casemiro would be anything else that he is. Actually, I didn't think so. It's ridiculous that rival fans thought that Casemiro was going to be anything else. It's ridiculous that people were counting out Rafael Varane. It is ridiculous that we spent the whole season. I mean, barring week 1 and 2, and then maybe after we had some injuries in March, we spent the whole season basically performing like this. It's ridiculous that people thought that we were going to fall apart, to me personally. And today was just another day in the office. It was comfortable. Chelsea wanted none of it. And it was a comfortable game. Casemiro is world class. He might be the best DM, him or Rodri, in the league. And that's just what it is to me personally.
Yeah, and the reason I wanted to call out, Casemiro, I want to get your take on this, Staffy, as well, is because the way he was written off by so many people, maligned, played down, steady Eddie, wouldn't help us. And yeah, look, he had in the last month, he had 2 or 3 games where he wasn't at his brilliant best. But overall, this season, he's been brilliant. And in the last 2 games without him, Man United maybe don't win, Staffy.
It's not just that. His last 2 games, including today, it reminded me of his form earlier in the season, that January-February form before he got his, I think it was his 2nd suspension, and he hasn't really been the same since, And these last 2 games gave me like flashbacks of that, and I was very happy to see that because that's the perfect time to get in that form right before that FA Cup final. For someone who plays as a DM, he actually scores a lot of goals. He scored a lot of goals for us this season. I don't even know how many goals he's at, but he's actually scored a lot.
He scored 7 goals for us. But in fairness, you only got to look at his career. 4 goals last year. Sorry, no, not last year. That was a loan at Porto. He scored 6 and 7 goals in a season for Real Madrid 3 times, and then has been around the 4 and 5 mark as well. So he's done it before. But yeah, so there are goals in this guy.
Terry, he scored against us at the bridge as well in the last minute. That free.
Yeah, it was that last minute goal.
That was his first goal.
And he got us the winner last game, and he got the first goal today. Obviously, like, I'm not just gonna judge him by these goals because it's not even his job, but I just think it's fascinating. Like, even when he doesn't score, I feel like this guy's always on the end of every cross from a set piece. I was saying it in the chat today, and I was like, why is he always the first man to get the ball whenever we have like a corner or a set piece? He's honestly been amazing. Like, I'm just very happy that he's on this form going into the FA Cup final, because we need everyone to be on top of their game, because we know you can still be at your best and still can't beat City. So to have such an essential player like him going into that game with that form, I'm very happy to see, honestly. And I'm going to be very honest. That was even before I started coming on the terrace. I doubted this guy when we first signed him because I had questions on him, whether he's going to be good in the Premier League without Modric and Kroos. I wasn't sure. I didn't rule him out, but I was like, I started asking questions. But I'm very, very happy to say I was wrong on this one. I have no issue being wrong on judging one of my players or expecting them not to do so well, and then they prove me wrong. Because at the end of the day, just if you prove me wrong, it means you did well for the team, and that's the goal for all of our players at the end. So very happy to see what he's done.
Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant today. This super chat asking that question: has Casemiro got more goals in his career with us? If he gets one more, then it'll be his highest ever in a season. And I'm hoping, a little opening goal or the winner in the FA Cup final with his head would be a
Can't say that, Terry.
Oh yeah, it would be a thing.
No. Terry doesn't count. Actually, no. Terry Flu's judge actually works as well. Actually, yeah. Don't say that.
I hear you on that. Sunshine's here with us. Well, we are obviously going to speak to the Chelsea fans. Samuel's here as well as a rival in all this.
Check backstage, Terry.
I know who's also there. Zain is backstage. We'll get him on later in the show, people. Zain has reared his head. But I do want to say before we go any further, we have still got 2 tickets and £250 spending money to give away for the FA Cup final in just over a week's time. Scan the QR code on the screen or click in the link in the description below. You've got about 20 hours, 7:30 tomorrow night. The draw happens live. Raffle, the company it's with, do it for us, and you'll be notified because you have to sign up and give your email address and details. You'll be notified if you're the winner. You can get as many tickets as you want. Maybe there's a bit more excitement today than in recent weeks, but you've got less than 24 hours now to get yourself in that draw. 2 tickets, plus I will personally be giving you £250 spending money for the day out at Wembley, and it will be historic whatever happens. You got a chance to go there, get it done. But Sunshine, it's been a tough couple of weeks, but United make the Champions League. How chuffed are you feeling about that, mate?
I wouldn't say chuffed, more relief at the moment. I'm still coming down from the emotions of the disappointment and almost not making it, man. I did say a while back, Casemiro was having some poor games, don't forget, guys, as well. Like, it was looking like if he couldn't pull it out the bag, then I don't think we would have at all. And it's like taking a second win or a third bag of win for us to go and get over the line, because this team looked depleted to me, Terry. It looked like it. And I still think it has to some degree, so I don't think we'll do well at City. But in isolation to where we are right now, I just think this team it's spent. I think Tenor's got the most out of it. He's rolled the last bit of toothpaste out of it. He's cut the back end of the toothpaste and squeezed it out. You know what I mean? If you're from the Caribbean culture, you'll understand that vibe right there. But for me, that's how I look at this Manchester United team. And just to get over the line is a massive relief for me. I think going into Fulham, we can kind of take our foot off the brake, but we don't want to get complacent as well. We've got to, maybe some of the players are going to have to stay sharp, maybe 45 minutes here and there with some tactical substitutions. But just to answer your question specifically, Terry, I'm more relieved than I am chuffed. I think come the end of the season, I'll be happy. The new owner situation is going to be the biggest part where I think I'll get most of my happiness from, depending on who that is. But yeah, a great result. And obviously Liverpool are most definitely in Europa League, struggling once again, back where they need to be. That makes, look at me, I'm happy already at that. Do you know what I mean? That makes me more happy, bro. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? They play Europa League. I can't even lie. They play Europa League. I'm gassed. I am gassed for that, bro. Forget 4-1. Forget that we scored more than 2 goals at Old Trafford. Liverpool, Europa League. Hold that. Safe. It is what it is. I'm gassed for that, mate. That's the best part of this. This is the best part of tonight.
I hear you, and look, I am happy they're not in it because it's a season where they're guaranteed not to get number 7. So yeah, I can't have it further away from Man United. I'm definitely happy about that. This year says we limped into top 4 at the start of a regime. I get why you would say limped in terms of how it looks, but it depends how you look at it. Before the season began, we had no chance. After the first 2 games, we had no chance. After the transfer window ended, we had no chance. The only reason that our expectations changed is because we already surpassed our expectations. You can't increase your expectations if you haven't surpassed what you were expected to have achieved. And this Man United team is tired. This Man United team is still lacking a lot of quality when it comes to the overarching squad, and that needs to improve. This team, and this comment here from Alex points it out, Man United, right, it says here, are only 2 wins behind Man City in terms of all comps this year. We've played so many games. And to do it with our squad is a massive achievement for this manager. And I've tweeted this, and I absolutely stand by it. And I'm going to say it now because I truly believe this. Top 4 secured. Fantastic first season for Erik ten Hag. With the right recruitment this summer, with our new ownership, this Man United team will challenge. Maybe not win, but will challenge for the Premier League next year. I am absolutely sure and thoroughly bought into what this manager is going to do. We've seen the reports. The Maguires and McTominays and the like will be sold this summer, irrespective of who the owner is. We've already seen the players we're linked to. Now, I know Mason Mount isn't getting the juices flowing, but it's not like he's the only midfielder we're looking at. With the Kims, the Kanes that we're looking at, the Declan Rices potentially, we bring in that caliber, 5 or 6 of that level, and a Mason Mount, maybe. I'm just putting it out there. This Man United team, I don't think we'll beat City next year, but we will move up another level. In the same way we've jumped from being predicted coming 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. By the way, Boovy, go call him out. He said we'd be lucky to get top half of the table. I believe we can have another jump that significant going into next season. There's no doubt in my mind. Rivals won't like hearing it, but for me, it's the truth. And as it stands right now, we didn't even make top 4. We made top 3. So
what's like mad as well. People will love to chat about our away form, which is the 5th best in the league, by the way, just to let you know. But our home form is number 2.
With one
and
game
potentially, and potentially could be number 2 by another, like, what was it? We're on 45, going to 48, another 4 points above Liverpool. Like, people were chatting so much about that loss to Brighton at the start of the season. And I know Arsenal fans were talking about the fortress that is the Emirates. The Emirates is a fortress. No one can come here and do what they used to do to us again. Bro, we are potentially about to beat that. Now, they've got one home game like us, but we could be up there as 2nd best home team in the league. Considering the start and the mentality and how fragile we were last season and seasons prior at home, that's a massive improvement that shouldn't be understated.
You see this thing about sorry, Dizzy. The thing about like limping over the line for top 4. And yeah, I mean, if you want to bring it down to the last few games of the season, but the bottom line is the league is decided over 38 games. Some fan bases found that out very harshly this season, and some fan bases are finding it out now. If Liverpool got into the top 4 this season after winning like 9 out of their last 10 or whatever, 8 out of their last 9, whatever, people want to say they limped over. People say, that was the real Liverpool. Oh, look at that great form. No, there was 20-odd games before that where you failed to do your job. We were allowed to drop a few points here or there because we played a 38-game season. So whether we got over there in the 33rd game or we got over it in the 37th game, it's judged over 38 games. And if we finish 3rd, it wasn't a limp because there's a team behind us who's closer to dropping out of the top 4 than us. For me, you judge it over the course of the season. If we end up finishing 6 points behind Arsenal, I know Terry said maybe it falls in terms of how close we are to Arsenal. Does it? I don't know, because this Arsenal team were in a title race and nobody expected them to be in. So I might ask, can we expect to see this same Arsenal team last season? Arsenal were near perfect for 30 games this season, and they fell away. Can they replicate being perfect again for 30 games and then go in the step further? It's probably more likely that they won't be as perfect for the 30 games, but of course, over 38 games, they may pick up more points. So I'm just saying that, for me, come the 38 games, you look at the league table, and it tells you exactly how good your team is. Nothing more, nothing less.
I hear you on that completely. We are going to talk Chelsea on this show as well, so we've got Chelsea fans with us. We will be bringing Zain out very soon to chat with us as well. So stay with the Football Terrace. Legendary Villain here says, I told you lot about Bruno. If you really want United to improve, frail players and players who are not physical have to go or be benched. Rice and Mount are being identified for a reason. Lack of physicality. Would United fans, would you label that against Bruno?
Is he an edit fan or who is that?
I'm confused. What do you tell us about Bruno? I'm confused.
Bruno's not good enough. He's always said that to us on the terrace, that Bruno isn't good enough.
Oh, well, keep Mount away from the club first and foremost. Forget I don't even understand that how Mount gets into this. Please keep Mount away. Bruno's good enough. I'll take Rice. Improving your team doesn't suggest that every player in your, because by that definition, by going for Rice, you're saying that Casemiro is not good enough. Because really and truly, Rice is probably more naturally a Casemiro replacement than a Bruno replacement, if of course they can all play together. But no, getting better players, Mount not included, getting better players doesn't prove that your best players are not good enough. It probably proves that your backup players like Fred and McTominay aren't good enough.
I'm just surprised he even said he's okay with Rice and Mount being identified, because, bruv, the way that he goes after English players normally, flipping out legend over there, and you're okay.
Hey, is Kevin De Bruyne physical? Is he quite physical, legendary villain? Yeah, is he a tank? Is he colossal?
Yeah,
what is that guy though?
So do you know what I think it is with what KD? The one thing KDB has over Bruno in terms of his physical attributes, he's got that. He has got very good explosive acceleration. That's the one thing Bruno doesn't have. He hasn't got the ability to explode. But I think Bruno is very physical. Yes, he rolls around, grabs legs, and does what he does. But there's loads of players that are brilliant that do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially players, like especially players that have flair in them or they're creative. And I look at Bruno this way: you put more killers up front next year, like Harry Kane, for him to pass balls to, and you'll see an even happier Bruno Fernandes. You really will. You saw even in that first half, right? Sancho, by the way, got better throughout the game. Bruno's through, ball played. I first of all thought it was a Bruno bad touch. Bad touch. Then you look at it, the man's having to stretch like he's doing the splits to get to it. When we have better quality passing that ball in, he'll score more and create more. I get you're not a Bruno fan, but remember, this season and this turnaround, this man has led us as our captain. So if you're praising the team for achieving what they did this year against all expectations, you can't just leave out the captain that's led us there, in my opinion. Does he have areas of weakness? Yes, but so do all football players. And I think that's massively key for me. This super chat here says, we back in the Champions League, baby. Whoop, whoop. Man like Ray, hope you're good, brother. Cedric here says, my preseason got takes. Rashford's best season, Shaw's best season, Liverpool out of the top 4. You actually did. I remember you predicting that, Cedric Levy, and everybody said you were. Actually, by the way, about all 3 predictions, they said you were a psychopath. I remember one comment says Cedric's a psychopath.
I think he meant to say hot takes. Yeah, that's what he meant. Hot takes.
Yeah. I know. Maybe Real Madrid shouldn't have gotten rid of their CDM so quickly. Needed him in that semi-final against City. Even Neymar trusted him. Well, Neymar's going to be back playing with him at Man United next year, according to the Parisian news. There we go. TJ says, Liverpool walking alone after finding the top 4 shop is closed. Love it, is what TJ says. This is from David. He says, all I was saying is that we've always crossed the line in the final moment, so I wasn't really worried about top 4. Man United love doing things a different way. That's very much a Man United trait. Mm-hmm. This here states, can we talk about how good Garnancho is? One of my notes was just Garnancho hungry. Like, I want to get Staffy. You're a little bit of a tactico, a little bit of a football hit.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
What do you make of Garnancho? Because I've seen a lot of Man United fans slag him off this year. What's your take on Garnancho?
I think he's being used perfectly for what he has. So, like, every time he comes on for the last 20 minutes or so, I think so far the manager's used him perfectly. Because I don't see him playing a 90-minute game for us yet. Because this game is still very raw. Like, there's a lot that he needs to improve on, But when you bring him on when there's tired legs already, especially if you're winning, and there's, like, areas to run into, that is his game. Now, am I a big fan of his game? No, but, I mean, he could develop to be a good player or, like, a more complete player than he is. So far, there's a lot to work on. So I want to praise Ten Hag on how he's using him. Now, on the opposite side, I wouldn't replace any of the wingers that currently start for us with him, because I think in a 90-minute game, he wouldn't be giving us what he gives us off the bench, and at least that you have this option off the bench where, to be honest, like, I think he's our secret weapon off the bench, whether you need a goal or with to win the game, to tie the game, or even just, to kill off a team, whatever it is, he's always the option. And he brings in so much energy when he comes off the bench. And as far as it's going, I want to keep using him like that. I remember he won us the Manchester Derby at home 2-1 when he came on and got me that assist. So, give me another one of these moments in the FA Cup final.
What I've noticed about Staffy, he really doesn't like running behind pacey wingers.
It's not even that, KJ.
It's not his bad.
I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. Because last time I was trying to explain to Terry that Sancho didn't have a bad game, and he put on that suck your mom or whatever that was. I thought that show was hilarious, whatever it is. But here's the thing. You can't have too many players that are risk takers. And when I look at my team, I look for balance, okay? I am fine with some of my players doing what's right rather than doing what they want to do. And so many people here, like, they got crazy when Garnancho came on. What was the game that we played last game?
It was Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, yeah. And he came on, and the first chance he had, he took on a man and he beat him. And I expect that from Garnancho because I just explained how when he comes off the last 20 minutes off the bench, he has that explosive in him anyways, and he's such a direct player. He likes to do that. And I was like, everyone's losing their mind because, like, he did that, but you can't do that for 90 minutes. And especially you got to look at who's around you. There's players that take too many risks sometimes, and you lose the ball too much. Some players are smart enough to know, like, listen, I already have this player who likes to do that, so I'm not going to be wasteful too on my side or whatever and take on too many unnecessary, like, challenges or whatever.
Steffi, where I just want to challenge you on that with Sancho was tonight. I was fuming with him in the up until the last kick of the ball, basically in the half. The reason that he was making the wrong decisions is because he was thinking too much. When we scored that goal, the pass he played to Martial was difficult, but he did it, boom, just thought about it. He didn't think, I'm not going to play it in case it gets intercepted and I lose possession. When you're around the edge of that box, you have got to take risks. I don't think every time is right. But in that game against Bournemouth, he barely ran at his fullback. And I'm not buying this. Yeah, but he kept possession because he didn't lose the ball. You've got to put that fullback on. You've got to put him on locking and you've got to run at him and you're going to push him. And in the second half, Sancho was great. Why? First time balls in behind, making those runs. And by the way, he is better on the right hand side. He is not.
There we go, people.
Don't say that because Cage is gonna get too excited.
No, but he would actually run. I was like, oh, he's got legs. Like, he can actually run. Like,
he used to play on the right for Dortmund.
Exactly. The reason he don't run as hard on the left is because same as Anthony. They haven't quite got enough speed. They get so far in front. So by the time they cut back onto their left, they've still got time to cross the ball. They both know I can beat a man, but once they're cutting on my right or my left, respectively, they've caught up. It's the Premier League. That's their issue. I know the manager likes his inverted wingers. I say play it conventionally and play them on their strongest feet. I think we'll see two better players there. I really do. Sancho just looks so much better on that right-hand side. And by the way, the injuries there, that may be it for the final anyway, and we'll see how it cooks.
And he played 90 minutes, by the way. And this is the first time he's played 90 minutes for a while. So we should all be happy because
which is absolutely rare. Someone here says, legendary villain says, I remember you lot saying the same about Oli and we were top of the league. I said the same about Ronaldo and Cavani. I'll wait when everyone finds out about Bruno. I hear what you're saying. So I just want to say really quickly, because we've got to get to Joseph and get Zain out. I will say this, legendary villain. People weren't overly defending. Some people defended Oli. Some people, Man United fans did. I can only speak for myself. My issue was, who are we going to bring in? The Glazers are here. Unless they're selling us, I don't really care. That was the overarching point. You said the same about Ronaldo and Cavani. I think Cavani's first season was pretty good. He fell off because Ronaldo came in. And I hear what you're saying there, my friend. But on Bruno, I know you've been riding out against him now for nearly 3.5, 4 years. There comes a point where if this manager keeps putting him in the team and makes him his captain, you know, maybe you're just going to have to hold your hand up.
Man's going to retire. He'd be like, yeah, I told you don't have it.
Yeah. We can make another montage of Bruno kicking the ball over the crossbar.
Why are people being negative today? Even I'm not talking about Bruno, and I'm not his biggest fan.
Hit the crossbar. Look, just listen. He'll find his goal scoring boots again. But this is how you know how good Bruno is. In his worst output season for Man United, he's still got 25. In his worst in terms of output, and he's had a brilliant season.
But man, people wanted this. This is what they wanted. Less GA. More about the team. Now you're still cooking him for GA.
Very, very true. Bruno is overplayed, but holds his ground. He whinges, but to say he's not physical is insane. And again, why has he been overplayed this year? Donny van der Beek gets injured. We didn't get another midfielder earlier on to back up. What's his face? Eriksen. If Sabitzer was here from the beginning of the season, Bruno would have been rotated more earlier on in the season. He gets burnt out massively, and it does need to be.
Not forgetting, Terry, just a quick one, but not forgetting Bruno's been employed to be on the right-hand side of the game as well. Like, he's been used in positions that he shouldn't be in anyway. And that, again, shows a lack of depth in the right area. So,
yeah,
you know.
110%. Fatur, I was going to do me a favor. I'm going to put you backstage and bring you back out in a minute when we move on to Chelsea. But I need to bring Zain out, and there's not enough room on the thing to do it. I'm going to put you backstage. Zain is here, though. He's shown his face. Zain.
What's up, people? How you doing? Why would I be running away, man? What's wrong with you lot, chat, man? What's wrong with you? I'm going to be here, bruv. First of all, well done to Man United for not bottling it. I like other teams like Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? At least, do you know what I mean? We got them to the second to last game of this season.
Focus.
Not Arsenal. They couldn't even get to the last game. So let's not talk about that, bro. But
focus.
Well done. You did your job. I mean, yeah, I predicted that we would get top 4 based on us going on a run, which we did, and you guys bottling it. Unfortunately, I miscalculated. I thought Ran was out for the rest of the season, but he came back at the right time. Ran came back and saved your worthless asses, so it's all good. Now, anyway, you lot are gassing up top 4 and getting to the Champions League. What have you done in the Europa League? Nothing. And you're going to go to the Champions League. What are you going to do, bro? You're going to be meeting us in the Europa League next season, bro, when you get kicked out of the Champions League.
Stop. I'm muting you. When you say what, you're talking to a team that's won the Europa League and a team that's got a club that's got 3 Champions Leagues. We've been there and done it before. I'll ask you a question, Zain. Zain, do you know? Okay, it's not as much as Liverpool, fair enough, but okay. Do you not think Man United are going to improve next year? The reason I'm excited about being in the Champions League is I think with the right summer, we've got a chance next year in that competition. So why shouldn't we be excited if we believe we've got a chance?
I think I'm a bit more concerned for you guys because what happens, you don't even get the group stage and you meet Liverpool in the Europa League and then we slap you up and go on with the
That wasn't my question. My question was, if we believe we're going to improve and have a chance next year, why shouldn't we be excited about being in the Champions League?
No, do you know what? If you're going to get the right recruitment, like I said, it's all about what owner you get and the recruitment you make. And then obviously, yeah, what's there not to look forward to for next season? Because it's all about if, buts, and maybes. And potentially, you could get the right signings, the managers back, you get the right owners in, and it could be potential for an amazing season. Next season, of course, it's going to be.
That burnt you to say that, bro.
No. But what I'm happy about, no. It's not burning me because what I'm happy about is I'm shameless, and my other team, Man City, they get the treble. Oh my God, I'm going to be good, bro. This season's been good for me because it will shut all your Man United fans about your treble, bro. So for me, there's other things.
It's like one agenda failed for you.
Hang on a minute. So you're a Liverpool fan that just admitted you support 2 teams. That is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Let me just say this now. If I become a millionaire before you, Zain, and I've got £10 million in the bank, then you become a millionaire with £10 million in the bank. It doesn't make me broke. So if City do a treble, I'm annoyed that they've joined us. But it surpasses any achievement Liverpool have ever done. It's your club that's getting surpassed, not Man United. So why are you laughing at that? All they're doing is equaling us. They're equaling it. You're still sitting there with no treble.
All right, let me.
Why are you laughing?
Let me explain my logic behind it.
No, there is no logic around it. Listen,
there
is no logic. Even if they're crowned as it being a better treble than Man United, it doesn't wipe away our history. If Man United get to 7 Champions Leagues and you're on 6, does that mean you have no Champions Leagues?
I wasn't realised I was allowed to talk again.
Done out here. You've been.
I don't understand.
You've been cooked and barbecued.
No, in your head you have, bro. But like I said, man,
I'm telling you now, Kentucky Fried Zain, bro, 100 zinger burger. Zain the zinger burger, done.
Oh man,
you know what it is,
right? Like I said, boys, well done.
You know what it is.
Go on.
You know what it is. First of all, much respect for showing up because there's a few Liverpool fans I was waiting to see. I was waiting for them. So much respect for showing up. Second of all, the problem with you, Zain, is the things that you say, you don't even believe them for real. I could tell, fam. We can see it in your face, fam. You don't believe what you're saying. So this is the problem when you gotta come on and defend the bants and the hot takes and because you don't believe it, G. We can see you.
What do you
Zain,
mean?
yeah,
I'm
you
being
gotta
respectful, bro. I'm being
and you've got a new
respectful.
nickname. The viewers have given you a new nickname because your name's Zain. It isn't KFC, it's KFZ. That's it now, bro. KFC.
Again, you're back instead. But anyway, back to this point. I've been very respectful and honest.
In East London, there's a few KFCs, you know. There's a lot of names like that in restaurants, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait. Very respectful, Zain. You literally came up here, laughed and said you're going to be in the Europa League with us when you fail in the Champions League.
No, I said,
How is
what
that
if?
respectful?
I said, what if? What happens? Worst case scenario.
No,
you don't get through the group stage.
You legit said we would do that. Like you was laughing while I was saying it, bro. Like you don't try and change history now, bro.
Look, we've got to be a bit entertaining as well. Come on, man. That's what the fans want to hear. A bit of, you know,
Zain.
Just you know, under the farm. I've got to fight as well, bro.
Zain. Sometimes listen, you got to learn when to take your L's. Okay. Dizzy just said, "I respect you." What L? He just said, "I respect you for coming on." And I would like to say that maybe it would have been the wiser decision not to come on because you look like you're running out of agendas. You had an agenda, it failed, and you're looking for another one. And now you're saying what ifs and maybes, and then you're saying trebles. It's like you're trying to grasp onto something and you can't find anything. You're making yourself look bad. Well, just admit that you got it wrong and move on. It's fine. I didn't want to come for you because I didn't have smoke with you. I had smoke with the other Liverpool.
Yeah,
fan.
I know you got
the one that came on here and was leading on his fans saying, "Oh, they're gonna slip," and he was carrying this WWE fantasy promo on how Mitrovic is gonna score like a last-minute hitter and eliminate us from the top four, and he's gonna make it. Yeah, and Solanke and some desperate shit like that. So I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told him. Just look in the camera and apologize to your fans for lying to them and leading them on to believe in something that's not gonna happen. Because you sat here and you were manifesting us slipping. No, hold on. Let me cook it. Listen, I don't care about KFZ. There's no KFZ. There's Zain Halal Chicken. This is what's going on right now. It's Zain Halal Chicken. Listen,
ain't no cooking going on here.
It's Zain Halal Chicken, bruv. Listen, bruv. Okay, just apologize to your fans, bro. Be like, listen, I got it wrong. These guys got top four. And I got it wrong, and move on with your life, bro. It's fine. You don't need to sit here and lie to them again. Be like, well, they're not gonna finish, get out of their group stage, so they're gonna drop to the Europa League, and we're gonna beat them. You're running out of agendas, bro. You're looking desperate. It's okay to get it wrong sometimes. Just move on with it, bro.
Hold on. What? Again, sorry. I know you're trying to cook me, but boy, they're not cooking on here. But what agendas? Are people not allowed to make predictions? And
just admit you got it wrong.
There's no agenda in there, bro. I'm just saying.
Zain, I'm interjecting. When you say no agenda, you just sat there and said your other team's City. So just that alone, you've done yourself. You've done yourself, brother.
No, but the thing is,
Zain halal chicken, bro. That's what's going on.
That's the thing.
There's no halal here with his lies. That's bare haram, bro. Bare haram.
You know what I mean? How I keep getting muted, bro. See, the chat know this, right? But let me explain. If my team's dead this season, I'm going to watch a team that's playing well. And so why would I not choose someone like City to watch and enjoy their football? Because arguably, they're the best Premier League.
You're a mess right now, bro. You're a mess.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's trying to find
something. You're a mess, bro.
He's trying to find anything to talk
best
about.
Premier League ever.
Zain, I appreciate you coming on. We've got to bring Fator back in. Top man for showing your face, and we'll see you in a bit. My word.
Samuel, I'm so sorry for you, Samuel, because he's part of your fan base. I apologize for you.
Guys, obviously there was another team that played tonight in Chelsea.
Played.
Donny, talk to me about your team tonight.
Staffy, bro. This is why a few weeks ago I told you, when you were saying to me Chelsea fans are spoiled, and I said to you the reasons why we're asking for more players this season. This is why, bro. Gallagher. Conor Gallagher, bro. Yeah, we've got Havertz up top. 2023, we've still got Aspi at this club on more money than what he was earning under Roman, bro. Yeah? These are the problems at my club. Right now, we have so many holes to fill, and we've got a coach that is clueless. He's not putting anything out there for these players to go off of. There's no tactics. There's no vibes. It's not fun. There's one game left. I'm just waiting. 90 more minutes of hell, right? We're in hell. And then we can go again in summer. Because we need a CDM. We need Nkuku to come in. We need Gusto to come on that right? We need a proper striker. We need a new goalkeeper. This place is a mess, right? And if you look at the lineup today, next season we're not going to be seeing the same lineup again. It's going to be a different Chelsea because we need to make sure this summer we get the players that we need to fill these holes because this is too much. And obviously Poch is coming in as well. So for me today, it just again goes to show that these players that we've got right now are just not good enough. Arsenal, if they had the chances that we had today, would have been 3-4-0 up. Man United, Liverpool even City as well. But if you look at us, we've got easy chances and these professional footballers don't know how to take them time and time and time again. We go into matches as Chelsea fans. We don't know what to predict. We don't know what lineup is going to put out. We don't know what formation is going to put out. We don't know who's going to start. You had Fofana today having his worst performance in the Chelsea top. It's just got to the point where nothing's going to change. It's the same thing week after week. I'm just waiting for the season to finish.
Has Fofana been that bad, bro? Because when I saw him today, I couldn't believe how shocking he was.
He has not been
watching him that much.
When he came back, when he got injured and he came back, he was arguably our best player. And then something happened where he got another injury against Everton. And since then, he just hasn't been the same. He's been quite shaky. Overall, I can't blame him fully because we need protection in front of him. But today, I can't excuse the performance from him. You know, passing it out at the back, easy interception there, giving away the penalty. I can't excuse that. I can't say a CDM is the reason why I done that today. So for me, today, again, just shows a lot of work needs to be done in this team. A lot of surgery needs to be done in this team.
Out of curiosity, where do you put these new players? You have 1 million players on supermax contracts like this, the NBA, fam. These men are on 8-9 year deals, fam. Where do you
but
put these men?
what we need to do is get rid of a lot of players before we even think of bringing anyone in. We need about 3, I'll probably say 3, maybe even 4 additions. We definitely need 2 midfielders. We need a striker. We need a new goalkeeper. We need quite a few things.
Here's the issue with Chelsea, though. His issue with Chelsea, yeah, because I said this. I can't even last season when you lot were buying all these players and people going, oh, he spent 800, 900 million. I'm saying no. It's a big risk. It is a big risk, and this is right. It's not the NBA. You've had an American owner come through. He's applied this mentality of let me get about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 players, whatever. Let me put them on serious wages, and he's taking a big gamble because financial fair play for you guys is going to be difficult every season if it doesn't work off in a short period of time because you've got to now go, okay, we finished 12th. How are we, one, going to attract better quality because we can't spend as much as we can each season because we're still paying off a certain amount that will eat into the budget every season because of these big contracts. That's how you've been able to do it. So it's a big risk. It's a naive one and an ignorant one from your new owner. And it's clearly backfired. And yes, you may sell some players, but respectfully, this is right. You've got at least 3 seasons with these guys before you can get anything back from them. At least. Because there's no way you can go and sell those guys.
You're talking about the players who just came. Remember?
Yeah, more time. More time.
Yeah. But Terry, switch me, Terry. Sorry, there we go. The problem is not the players that just come in. It's the players that are still flipping there from Roman. You've got
no, I'm not saying that.
No, but that's what we're focusing on. But the real
I was just landing my point different. That was all.
Yeah. But the new players that have come in have done well. Enzo was arguably the best player on the pitch.
So ultimately, to land the point, yeah, what I'm saying is, when you do go for a rebuild, if you're gonna go with the strategy that you're gonna bring in all these players, it's a big gamble because the players that you need to get rid of, which are your old players, you still then got to go and spend to replace those players. But because you've put these big wages in place and these big transfer fees over a set period of time, it's going to hinder your ability to be able to buy the quality that you do need to replace the older players. And this is what I'm saying.
They're not on big wages.
They're not on big wages, and we're going to get rid of a lot of players.
In general, big wages, big prices.
Hold on.
I'm not trying to do semantics. I'm just trying to be honest with you. From a neutral football perspective, you've basically taken a route to go and buy players the way you've done it, and it may backfire is what I'm saying, because you won't be able to, in my opinion, honestly, spend enough to replace the players that need to get replaced because of what you've done and the way in which you've done these contracts and the way in which you've set these players up to come to
but the reason why we've done
it's a big risk. That's basically my point.
Yeah, but the reason why we've set out the contract like that is for FFP, so we can actually go out there in the summer and still spend as much as we need to spend.
Yeah, but can you understand that? But can you not see how that's an issue going forward? If it doesn't, for example, right?
Yeah, but the point that you're
didn't
making,
make
you're trying to make the point
Go on,
that the
go on.
players that we brought in haven't worked out. But the point
No,
that
I'm
we're
not
making,
saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is,
what are you saying?
you have a what? Okay, with respect to the situation of what Chelsea have done, right? You've got a small window for these players that you have bought in the way in which you've bought them in, right? They have a small window
What
to
players
go and
are you
get you
referring
Champions
to?
League
What,
football
be specific.
and potentially honours. If they don't, that has a knock-on effect every single season for you to then go, one, attract better players, but two, to be able to get rid of them. And because of the tactical that you've done,
okay, well, I get what you're trying to say, but end of the day, right now, we can't go that extreme in terms of looking at these players ending up as flops, because look at the season that we've just had. We've got 35 players in the squad. We've had Graham Potter, who had no idea what he was doing with these players that he's got, no idea of the in-game management. Then we went and sacked him and brought in Frank Lampard, who has had 2 wins, I believe, in 19 games as a manager, who shouldn't be managing anymore, right, in a 35-man squad. The players that we've brought in as of January, so you've got Badiashile, he's been good. Enzo, he's been good. Mudryk, he's long-term, but again, how do you expect a player like him to thrive in an environment where he's having to get changed next door with
that's
a
part of my
makeshift
point.
tank and a bench on the floor because you can't
sorry.
get into the changing room? There's too many players. Mudryk, Madueke as well. How do you expect him to develop in this sort of environment? They're more long-term, but the players that we've brought in for now, as of January, they've done quite well. But at the same time, we need to get rid of a lot of players, and that's what we're going to hopefully do. And as of January, the only reason why we brought in the Mudryk and the Felix is because Sterling and Pulisic both got injured in the same game. We literally had no attackers, and the attackers that we had were the dross that we're trying to get rid of, such as Ziyech, such as Aubameyang. So how do you expect us to not make signings?
No, I don't expect you to. Listen,
when the opportunity was right there and we needed them.
No, if I'm honest, I don't expect you to. I hope you do shit. I'll be honest. That's just me. That's me being put my bias head on. Objectively, what I'm trying to say to you is, it's a risk doing it the way you've done it, because I think you've brought the right profile of players in the age category and the talent, everything. I think you have, yeah. But when you're going for a rebuild, it's a bit of a strange way to do it, given the fact that you're putting a lot of pressure on these new players to come through who are young, inexperienced in the league, with the standards and the pressures of Chelsea and the fan base and the way in which you are culturally ran. It's a lot of pressure to put on them, given the fact that they've probably got 2 seasons, 3 seasons to actually perform to the standard of which the standards you guys want. And if they don't, which realistically they shouldn't have to, because the expectation shouldn't be there straight away when you're rebuilding, it's going to have a massive knock-on effect to the players that are more experienced that you need to get rid of, because you're not going to be able, in my honest opinion, again, I could be wrong, it's just one football fan opinion out of 7 billion, cool, but I don't really think it's a wise strategy. If it works out, genius, amazing. But as it's seen this season, next season, you've got to come away with some form of trophy. You've got to make top 4 to get something back.
We can't buy players like that anymore. Anyway,
the thing is, hold on, Don, and I feel like this. It's not a mistake that I attribute to this ownership. Is that I've been thought process this for about 45 minutes, and I just think this is on how we're gonna be getting back our standards. I think it rely on some sort of a patterns, and I feel like those decisions be made by Bowley is somewhat poorly planning, and as a result, like into the huge influx of signing 9 players in one window, have demonstrated a lack of, I would say, understanding regarding the importance of the time and consistency behind the scenes as well.
What do you guys actually, Chelsea fans? Because it's easy to say you guys will do this and X, Y, and Z because of Chelsea fans, what they like. But what do you actually expect from these young guys? Like, because you guys all want the older players, the deadwood to go. We already know that. So what do you expect from these young guys? And how long do you feel like you can be patient for?
What young guys are you referring to?
What young guys are you referring to?
No. I'm just talking about the team as a whole. So like you're gonna have Mudryk, Madueke, Dacho Fofana, Wesley Fofana, Badiashile, Hugo.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. There's a lot of quality in this squad. So
that's why I'm asking. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, what do I expect? Okay, moving forward, I definitely expect a lot of structure. I expect proper in-game management, proper tactics, a proper coach at the sideline who knows what to do when it comes to managing in the Premier League, and we're going to have that in Poch. He's got a track record of developing young players. He's got a track record of playing good football. Do you know what I mean? He's got a good record of having a good discipline around the squad. This guy's he's been asking for more control, asking for CCTV in the whole like the training ground and everything, just to monitor people individually. Look at the video Mudryk was putting up yesterday online. He's not doing that if Poch is at the club right now. So a lot of these players need to buckle down. Like I said, there's a lot of holes to still fill, but there's a lot of quality in this team. You can see with that goal that Felix scored today. I know his end product hasn't been great the whole time he's been here. To be fair, even before Chelsea, it wasn't great at Madrid or in the World Cup either. But there's a lot of quality here. But it's just, again, it's not being utilized correctly, and we've got a conductor. We've had two conductors on the ship who just don't know what they're doing with players that of this level.
Don, it's too easy to say that, because I feel like if you're in Poch's position right now, what are you thinking gonna get these players to regain their mentality back? Because what happened this season, they're mentally distraught.
Yeah, but I think that's true. That's what pre-season is going to be all about. And
exactly.
You're linked with that guy. Is it pronounced
Ugarte?
Ugarte, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. So you're linked with him. And I said earlier, look, you may even need to sacrifice some signings early in this window to clear out the squad. These certain players need to be told, right, you'll go. Like, you look at Ziyech as an example. That guy shouldn't even be at your club right now. And it all fell through. And then 2 days later, he started a game. Yeah. That is an example of what's got to change. Poch has got to come in, whether he meets them face to face or sends a message or phones them. You're my guy. Relax. In your summer break, you're going to be part of this squad. Other phone calls, it's got to be like Judge's houses in X Factor. You're done. Even if you're training with the reserves, or we put you out to a feeder club, you will not be here next year. Your manager's got to be ruthless. That's the first thing he's got to do. Then it's just about training. A lot of these players are talented. I looked at Mihailo Mudryk tonight, and there's so many bad and heavy touches. He let the ball run across his body for that first chance. I don't think he's as bad as his performances are letting on. I think there's a better player in. I think there's a better footballer in there than we are seeing.
Terry, I was at his day. I was at Anfield when he...
That's a fitness issue, number one. We have to sort that fitness issue first. Fitness.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I just don't know. Look, I'm not a professional coach. No manager wants 35 to 37 players in their squad. There's a reason they all want between 20 and 23 maximum, because it's hard to work with people. It's hard to focus on what everybody's doing, because you're not double what most squad sizes are, but you're not far away from being double the size of a normal squad. That literally, imagine a classroom full of kids meant to have 25 children in it. Imagine you've got 45. Kids are going to get neglected because there's not enough teaching around.
Terry, this season,
there's too many players.
This season has actually shown a lot of fans that love the game, right? That having a good coach is important. Having a good manager is important, because if you look at us and the players that we've got, you can't tell me a lot of people forget this. As obvious as it sounds, as obvious as it sounds, a lot of people forget this, because you can't tell me, looking at this squad, a manager like Emery can't get something going. Even a manager like Arteta can't get something going with this team. We've had two complete twats that don't know that didn't know how to use the players that they've got the whole season. So
that's poor.
For me, next season, I actually have some belief that Poch can get a little bit of structure going. Obviously, the environment that he needs to walk into, like Terry said, needs to be healthy. We need to get rid of a lot of players. Like I said, it's car boot sale at Stamford Bridge this season. We need to get rid of a lot of players and hopefully just fill in a few gaps, and then we could go again. One game a week, that should hopefully help us.
But this is as football fans, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say, this is where the problem lies. I know you said it's a car boot sale and you need to get rid of a lot of players, but you're banking on sell-on value. So to be honest, like with Mount, you're hoping that Mount sells on for about 60 million. What about the others? Do you get what I'm saying? You're banking for these poor performances that you guys said we need to throw away. Where's the sell-on value for these players? Because you need sell-on value to buy.
We're gonna take a hit. We're gonna take a
hit. You don't look on selling value. What you do is, for harmony, for the club, for the team, you take hits, and that's the problem we had under Roman. We kept players too long and extended deals. We still got Bakayoko on a contract.
You're lying.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
We've had Baba Rahman on a contract still with us. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem.
Aren't you getting back Hudson-Odoi as well?
Hudson-Odoi coming back.
And this reminds me of what's... Listen, Man United is now gone, but Phil Jones is still out.
Right.
And we've had this thing, these legacy issues that clubs have got, that have had. And I've said this for many years. You're right, Don. Having a top quality coach helps. Of course it does. But what's more overlooked than anything is people don't understand structures and who runs your club. That's why I thought it's a Man United stream. I can bring him up about people getting triggered. It's why Fergie's the GOAT. He wasn't just a head coach. He was the director of football and head coach rolled into one. Old school managers don't exist anymore. People are head coaches. City wouldn't be where they are with Pep if they were run like Chelsea and Man United and Tottenham are run. He'd still win games. He'd still win trophies. He'd probably still win a league title because he's one of the best coaches football's ever had. But your structure behind it is key. And where Chelsea, and this is why it isn't just on Todd. You are not being run great under Roman either. It wasn't as bad as it's been the last year, but there were problems there as well that need to be called out.
Terry, what came out yesterday? Just a quick one. What came out yesterday is that apparently Todd Bowley's taken a step back. Yes. And he's only doing 20% of any work now related to the club.
And that's so important. That's
a lot of damage to 20%.
At the end of the day, well, it's as long as he's not touching football stuff. Because at the end of the day, I could have some money and go and buy a restaurant. If I start cooking the food, we're in trouble. I'm not a bad little cook at home, but I don't know how to cook food for masses of people at the same time. That's a skill. You've got to be trained in what to do. None of us on this panel could run a football club. None of us have the expertise or education in that area to run a football club. We all think we can, but we couldn't do it. None of us could run a bakery unless you're trained to do it. Like legitimately.
I'll manage better than Frank, though. I'll manage better than Frank Lampard.
Bro, we all would, bro.
Super chat here says, big up the panel. My question to Chelsea fans, what should my expectations be for Ruben Loftus-Cheek if my club AC Milan signs him?
I got a simple answer.
Insta followers.
I got a simple answer. We don't care. Just sign him. We don't care.
That is it. Rather bring Lingard back than run it and run it back than Mount. No, actually, I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
For 60 million, I might do that.
Maybe. This here says Villa under Gerrard 17th, Unai Emery 7th. Managers are crucial. You're right. Kids, this is why you don't smoke crack. That was in relation to Zain. That's from Nabil. Not Nabil, from Shirim. Zain, I would not be taking it if I was you. Did you say that the Scousers are going to have a Champions League next season? He did. He did. It's impossible now. It's impossible. Zain doesn't represent Liverpool. The Liverpool fan base is what Faz.
He represents Samuel. He represents.
Todd Bowley is at the wheel. Tell me how bad does it feel? Is what Debbie says here.
Not anymore.
This is why we got pots. Chelsea will not spend crazy. Fair point. Nabil says we ain't winning the FA Cup with this performance, but a win is a win. This shows spending is not always the key. Spend properly like Man City.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. Does today give you like real confidence? Because we still had chances against you.
Hell no, bro.
No. Like I feel like I felt the last few weeks. We can beat them, but we need a performance like we did against them at Old Trafford back in January. Performance. It needs to be one of our best of the year. Terry, remember when you said Todd will be better than Roman? Stop sugarcoating it for Chelsea fans. So much thing you got wrong about Chelsea. But Nabil again. But you neglect what I said. So what I spoke about is them building something for the long term, where they're spending as Roman did, but with a long-term structure and plan where they're not sacking managers. I said if they do that, they could create a dynasty as good, if not better, than the recent years of Roman. But they haven't done the things that I said they needed to do to achieve it. They've actually gone and acted just like Roman, but without the infrastructure and the experience around them. So there's no sugarcoating. You miss my rationale. So the rationale was right, because if they'd have come in and Todd Bowley wasn't giving team talks and making footballing decisions, they wouldn't be in this mess. So I was right. Logically, I was like, my process was still right, Nabil. So yes, it's one of those things for me. Now, if they get it right, by the way, and football people make football decisions, they stop Todd Bowley and all the American investors from running the football element of the club, they'll improve very, very quickly, Nabil. That I stand by. I won't change my mind on that. Why? Because every football club that spends big money, that's run brilliantly, does well. It's not literally. It's like me saying to you, if you don't breathe, you will die. It's an obvious thing. If you run well with money, you do well. And if they spend as much money, if not more than City, and they run well, they'll be a scary, scary outfit again. Chelsea can turn this round. This idea they're completely dead forever is only backed up if they don't buck their ideas up in terms of how they run their football club. So listen, Nabil, like me, enjoy where Chelsea are. I know you're a Man United fan, but don't sit there don't labor under the delusion that this is where they're going to be forever, because they may very well get it right this summer and start to improve, my friend. So I wouldn't be holding my breath on that. I want to also tell you something, that this is Lee Gunners in the mud, because I don't know where he gets his Man United info from, but he spoke to me the other day about how Ten Hag never calls anybody out, never calls the players out, owners out. He has said, and I quote this evening, "I need better players if we want to compete for the highest titles." So again, he hasn't named an individual player out by name. Why would he? That'd be very unprofessional. But again, it's another example. Lee Gunner, if you're watching, of the Man United manager calling out players not being good enough, and a message to the board that you need to go out there and buy better quality players. And he's right, by the way. That's what fixes Man United. A better transfer.
Even League Shaw said, they need to make big signings and compete for the Premier League. So like the players also understand that needs to happen. So where Man United are going, I'm happy. You know what I mean? As much as they are frustrated.
There's an improvement there though, KJ.
There's improvement. There is improvement, major improvement.
There's an improvement. Like before, it was a case of our players were kind of just wishy-washy with each other, like they were backing each other, like like girls, bro. Girls lie to each other, innit? Girls and girlfriends, they lie. Man, them we tell it straight. Like I feel that's what United was, bro. And the players were just, oh no, like Harry Maguire, no, he's a top lad, he's good. Do you know what I mean? He's a 10-10. Yeah, you go, Queen. Yeah, do you think? That's basically what's going on now. Ten Hag's coming with a mentality, and the players are actually coming through, going, "Well, no, he's serious. We're all serious," and it feels like all the players are involved and are on board with that message, so they don't mind actually saying we need better players. And it seems like the culture has been shifted. And for me, that's one of the biggest things for me, the mentality and the culture at the club. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted Ten Hag over Poch, because he's ruthless, man. He don't mess around. So
you're right, and I believe that's one of the reasons why Martial's been. I know he scored tonight, but that's one of the reasons why I think his overall play's been so poor. Martial typically at Man United is brilliant when he's the main guy and there isn't really much competition for him. As soon as Zlatan or a Cavani or somebody comes in that's challenging his role as number 9, he crumbles. And I think he knows it's deliver X or you're gone. In fact, he already knows we're going to try and buy a better number 9 in him next year. So in the back of his head, it's almost like I'm already done. And that's Martial's weakness. It's his ability to handle the pressure of competition. Because of the way he's performing at the minute, his overall play, this is what he does every time there was competition. Look, when Lukaku came in, Zlatan came in, he's just he shrinks away from responsibility, and it's a shame because his natural ability is amazing. It's just, can you handle the mental side? By the way, we have a Liverpool fan in the comments saying that, Terry, a treble is a treble. We have one, just not with the FA Cup, with the League Cup. Yeah, you've got a treble if you want to call it that, but you don't have the treble. And there is a difference. There is the treble, and you don't have it. Only Man United do. Maybe Man City will have it come the end of the season.
Terry,
you're talking about Liverpool, though.
Terry,
we've got Samuel. We've got Samuel here.
Yes, we do.
Who looks miserable, and I love it.
I want to talk about Salah's tweet. Can we expect any more
tears
from between now and then?
Oh my!
First of all, I'm disappointed in other Liverpool fans, except for Zain, that hasn't come on talking and haven't come back their talk. So listen, I'm here on the island on my own. I'll take the hits and punches, but all I'm saying is that I'm looking forward to next season because I know we're going to improve next season. I expect us to win the Europa League, which you guys didn't do this season. So we will just finish the job. I expect us to win the Premier League as well, because anything other than that is a failure. It's a failure.
So you don't believe in this whole Thursday, Sunday Europa League tax? It's too hard for our squad. Okay.
No. You know your manager's not going to take it seriously. Come on, you've watched them
No,
in
no,
the
no,
cup
no,
games.
no,
All these
no. We
you know
are
he's under
taking.
pressure.
Don't stop. You do not say that. We are taking that seriously. We are going to win that Europa League. We will be the best team in that competition, anyways. We will need to win that Europa League. Anything other than not winning that Europa League is a failure. Full stop.
Is that with or without Jude Bellingham?
Without Jude Bellingham, that's right. That's right. That's fine. That's fine. Laugh it up as much as you want. Laugh it up as much as you want. Without Jude Bellingham, with Jude Bellingham, it's fine. All I'm saying is that all I'm saying is that every time, actually twice, when Jose Mourinho was at Man United and when Oli finished second, when you guys finished above us, Liverpool went on to win a trophy the next season. So I expect us to win a trophy the next season. So the people in the comments that saying that Liverpool are finished, Liverpool this and that, I want you to keep the same energy next season because I'm going to be here no matter what, and I will be unbearable.
I mean, are you expecting a big summer in terms of transfers?
I do expect I do expect 2 or 3 midfielders because somehow I'm kind of glad, and trust me, I want to be in the Champions League. I want to be in the Champions League, 100%. But what it does, it us being 5th doesn't paper over the cracks. I feel like if we got 4th, it would have papered over the cracks saying, "Oh, this team is fine." This team, because the season when we finished 3rd, I felt like it papered over a lot of cracks for us that we didn't address. So we need to go get 2, 3 midfielders, get this McAllister deal done and over the line as soon as possible. Also getting a defender as well. Just because I feel like Van Dijk doesn't have competition. And we need Van Dijk to have competition. And competition always builds good quality because Van Dijk will be looking at it thinking, I might be benched the next game. I need to play well. So, yeah, a defender and 2 or 3 midfielders. And we should be back at the top.
As well.
Yeah.
You guys should be in for Guardiola, man. He'll be good for you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
I wanted to ask the Man United fans, because we're going to go through this in the top 6 show tomorrow, but none of you are on the panel tomorrow night. But expectations for Man United next year. Let's just say we have a good summer. Because, again, if we have a bad summer and we don't sign anybody, it will change. But let's say we have a good summer. We sign a number of good players. What's your expectations, Neeks, for United and Ten Hag next year?
We need to challenge for the title. Listen, we need to challenge for the title because this City crap can't continue. It can't continue. That's actually the bottom line. It's not about you're gassing out your players. The bottom line is, and I get it, if we end up with the Glazers at the start, by the end of the summer, we still have been taken over. I know we're not gonna challenge for it. But as we stand right now, considering that everything that's happened, that we expect to happen, City have to be stopped. And I can't pass that buck no more. We've been passing the buck for 10 years. Liverpool had to stop City, even though we didn't necessarily want them to stop City, but they stopped them. Arsenal had to stop City, but when they don't, you banter them. No, it's up to us. I can only look at ourselves. The same. That's why I'm so happy, for example, that we are in that FA Cup final. Some people are like, Brighton play better football, they got a better chance. No, can't pass the buck anymore. We're Manchester United. So as far as I'm concerned, we have to challenge City for that.
And Neeks, just to introduce,
we have to win it. We have we can't pass the buck to anyone else.
Neeks, just to quickly say this, Neeks, just to quickly say.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
it's in Man United's best interest.
We can't go in the season thinking, let's just get 3rd and or 2nd and go deep in the cups. We have to be going into the season with the aim of winning the Premier League.
Yeah, but there's a difference between hope and a perspective on reality. Like, I'm not saying this season hasn't been amazing. Yeah, this season's been wicked for us. There's no doubt about it. But the expectations that we had were realistic based on what we'd come to agree with as a fan base, more so majority, based on where we are as a club, what we need in order for us to go and challenge. And Ten Hag has super exceeded anyone's ambitions this season. It's now given us a complete extreme high level of, how can I put it, hope of, next season we should be challenging. There has to be another line. At the start of the season, hold on. At the start of the season, we were thinking, 7th, 6th, and we're like, fair play makes sense. And if Ten Hag does better than that, then cool. But it's going to take 3-4 years to rebuild. Now we're already talking about challenging because we've seen something so amazing. That there has to be, there's got to, the truth will be in the middle. I think, and respectfully.
But Nadine, I've got 2 examples in the last, we're talking 5 years, where Liverpool finished 4th under Klopp in 2018.
2017.
2018.
Go on,
actually, you're right. 2017.
Yeah, 2017. And they challenged for the league next year. They didn't win it. They didn't win it, but they challenged for the league. Arsenal finished.
Here's the difference, though. But Neeks, Neeks, when you look at Liverpool, when they started their rebuild, look at the way in which they did it, right? They were consistent season on season out with their approach and what they wanted to do with the manager. Yeah, they were consistent. I can't sit here and say that we're going to be consistent in the way we're doing it. Even if we get new owners, there's going to be a new way in which we run things. Our clubs are in a completely different situation. This is why I say Ten Hag's overachieved. Hold up. To the point, bro. Yeah, he's achieved to the point where we're now in magical land. Like, oh my God, we could actually do something next season. I'm just putting perspective on the season and expectations, saying because what we have to factor in.
But the question isn't that. The context of the question that Terry set is, with everything going as good as it could get, new owners, the perfect players to fill in to this Man United squad, what would we expect? And that's what Neeks is saying.
Respectfully, the question was what are expectations for Man United next season? Terry, what did you say specifically? Just to correct me if needs be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking like your expectations, like what you expect us as a.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I expect that we, again, I said if we have the Glazers, then I understand how the summer's going to be, but we need to be building a squad next season that can challenge for the league title. So that means, that means we have to go out and get Harry Kane. That means we have to go out and get Kim Min-jae.
Okay. So Nick, that goes back to my point. Reality is, can we go and get Harry Kane, 2 midfielders of the quality we need, and have the depth in the reality situation that we're in now? We don't know who our owners are. We don't know how much we'd have to spend. We don't know what we need to do to go and to be those challengers. So I'm speaking from a reality perspective, not out of hope. I'm speaking on the case of realistically. Can we challenge? Not should we, can we?
All right.
And I'm saying I don't think we can as it stands until I don't even think we can answer the question until we've got to a situation where we can see what owners are coming in. That's just fact.
All right. So
there's no way if you want to go on.
I'm just answering the question based on what I expect my club to do.
Yeah.
If we get rid of the Glazers. I'm
saying, but the question, Terry, is that okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the question. The way I'm taking Terry's question is quite specific and to the point. It is a prediction. So that means you have to factor in everything that's going to go into that season. And you can't factor in if and buts. It's guesswork in that respect. You have to take on.
The question's the expectation, which is not a prediction. They're 2 different things.
It is.
Wait, Terry, didn't you say
expectation is that you have to predict things to expect?
But I can listen to this here. I can expect Man United to challenge, but then I could predict. Actually, with Erik, like you're saying, with everything that's going on, we won't challenge, but you can still expect something.
Okay, so an expectation.
Fans expected to win the league.
All right, an analogy then.
Yeah. Went on, they expected not that.
All right, so there's a difference between hope and faith. Yeah, if you have hope in something, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope something's going to happen. You have no actual belief. When you have faith in something, you have more of a stronger overtake on it. So I'm looking at expectation. Go on.
No, I understand you. I suppose it's this for me. I want us to win the league next year. I don't, and I expect us to challenge for it. If we don't, then it's about looking at what's accountable. So right now, as our squad is, we can't. If we buy Kim Min-jae, Costa, Rice comes in, we sign Harry Kane, Mason Mount turns up as well, as an example. If we sign that level of player across the board and we're really improved in terms of that, we get another inside forward. Ahmad comes back and is amazing like he was in the Championship. KJ be buzzing about that. Say we do, Frimpong comes in and he's a revelation going forward. then I expect us to now challenge. If we don't, then you have to look at why we did. So then it might be.
Can I say something though?
And I think what's really key about this is, I know the world is polarized, and what you'll get from rivals, and I've said I think with the right summer we can challenge. They'll say, well, if you don't challenge or you don't win the league, then you've got to sack your manager. That's another conversation. You've got to look. Imagine we get 96 points and City win the league on 97 points. You ain't sacking that manager, right? Because you've improved again and you're right on the edge and you're able to do it. If we have a summer like that and we scrape fourth, there is a possibility I'll contemplate the manager's job depending on how we do in all the other competitions. And so it's really hard to say when you would and wouldn't sack a manager. But I expect more progression, more wins, better away. Again, little things are better away record against the big teams next year. More wins, less goals conceded. I expect about 30 more goals in the Premier League next year, by the way.
But Terry, how
to do that?
Terry, how I see it from an outside point of view is Ten Hag has definitely overachieved with the players that you guys currently have, because you do have quite a lot of dross, quite similar to Chelsea. You've got a lot of dross you need to get rid of, and at the same time you've got a lot of holes that you need to fill as well. So I don't think it's wrong for Neeks to expect you guys to compete next season. And the reason why I think that is because if you look at your overall season, the guys won a trophy. That's one thing. Everyone can talk about the opponents he had to face, but end of the day, Man City lost to Southampton. We got knocked out by Man City. You can only beat who's in front of you. So you can't really get onto United about that. But end of the day, he's won a trophy. He's got you guys top four when a lot of rivals are predicting you guys to finish 6th, 7th. So if you look at overall the squad, there's, if you get Harry Kane, this guy's bringing 25 goals to this team. Games that you've lost this season, those are now wins. Games that you've drawn this season, those are now wins. If you get a new goalkeeper, if you get at least 2 midfielders, I'd probably say you need at least 1 ball playing midfielder, because you don't have the best build up. I feel like United, you need.
Okay, so on that point,
you haven't got one.
On that point, I want to go off exactly what you just said. You just said we need a striker, we need 2 midfielders, and you said a goalkeeper. We're talking about a new right back. So I just named 5 players.
And a center back.
I wouldn't say right back.
Well, we definitely need a right back and a center back, because we're getting Kim Min-jae. And if he comes in, then you're telling me he's probably starting over Varane.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, when I say right back, you could upgrade that position, but it's not a priority. I
think it is. I think it is a priority for us. That's just me personally.
Anyways, I would say there's other positions before that.
Regardless, it's 5, and we just named essential ones. A goalkeeper is a big position. A striker is a big position. So you just named 2 of the biggest positions on the pitch, okay? Now, here's my thing. As shameless as I am, because I come here and I big up my team and I say all that, but we got to be realistic at the same time. I don't think Neeks is wrong, and I don't think Sonny's wrong. You guys are right in different ways, because Neeks said, I am expecting. Because when you go in and we're going to splash all that money, especially if we get the Qataris in. So when you talk about all these signings, because you guys just named, hypothetically, we're signing 5 players, it means you splashed a lot of money, you spent big going into the summer. That raises expectations. People are going to say, oh, well, United should compete for the league this year. So Neeks expecting that from his club, especially after the money being spent, he is not wrong. Sonny's also not wrong, but my reasoning for what you said is a little bit different. I don't see a team switching 5 essential players on the pitch and right off the bat instantly going like this and they're winning games. Yes, we lost 9 games this season, so it is very easy to improve on that, because losing 9 games is a lot. If you lose 5 or 6 the next year, that means you're getting somewhere between 3 to 9 extra points. So that's already an improvement. However, I don't expect, you can't tell me you're going to get a new goalkeeper, a new striker, a new midfielder, a new center back, and maybe a new right back, and you're going to start winning right away. Because when you guys use the Liverpool comparison, the reason you can't use it is because Liverpool were 2 players away from winning something. If you guys remember, they were banging that season, got 4th. Next year, they won the Champions League or whatever. It was that year they finished it, and they lost the Champions League final to Madrid. But they already had a fantastic front 3. They had a midfield, and they had their back line. They had Trent and Robbo. They were just looking for a center back to help next to Matip, and they were looking for a goalkeeper. And I think that was also before they got Fabinho. But they were much closer to a complete team than we are. because we still don't know Sancho if he's good on the left or the right, or if you even want to keep him. We're still expecting Anthony to improve. We're still talking about, okay, if we got a striker, do we put now Rashford on the left, or do we play him in the middle? We're talking about so many things. There's so much still to change next season for you to compete, because you're looking at City, they're going again with the same team that they have. They're just going to like change a little bit off the bench. Whereas you're telling me that half my team at least is going to be different.
All right,
and this is why we can't.
Everyone say why we shouldn't compete, and that's fair enough.
Well, can I?
What is your expectation, Staffy?
My expectations, my realistic expectations, is that we're gonna finish third. And by the way, this is my expectations right now until I see different evidence. So if something changes, I will be flexible. I'm not one of these people. Yeah, because people like to hold screenshots against you from 2 years ago as if nothing ever changed. But as I see it right now, until I see something different, I think we will improve, but not enough to compete as much as I want it to be. I'm saying those 9 losses definitely go down, because losing 9 games and still finishing third is actually pretty impressive, because it shows you that you actually didn't draw a lot. But if you're telling me those losses are going to narrow down to like 5 or 6, like I said, I expect us in a more comfortable third position where we don't have to wait to the last 2 games to secure it. And that's my realistic expectation as what I see right now.
Yeah, but Staffy, you're missing quality. You're missing quality in vital parts of your team. Like in your spine, you don't have quality in your spine. You haven't got a striker. What? You haven't really got a midfielder that's quite technical, like an 8. You haven't really got that. Bruno, I wouldn't say is great on the ball, in all honesty, and his passes as well at times aren't great. So you definitely need someone who can keep the ball. Someone like a De Jong, for example. If you had someone like that in your team, that completely transforms it. And Harry Kane as well.
But you're banking on so many things.
Yeah, but I think you're right about you. Sorry, guys, but you're both right though. This is the thing though. This is why my expectation is we go out and we fill those holes this summer.
Exactly.
Like my view, and that's the thing for me. We can't always separate club, manager, board, players, fans. It's a collective. I expect the club to go and get a striker, to have a more progressive ball carrier, someone who holds on to possession better in the box. I expect another quality centre back to come in. I also expect a goalie that can play out from the back. And it's funny because, again, another thing that a lot of weird guys that want are always on at Ten Hag. Actually, look at the breakdown of the new deal for De Gea. What I've read is that it's going to be much reduced salary and only 2 years, which tells you they're planning for a longer-term replacement. They want to keep him at the foot. I mean, if De Gea is your backup goalkeeper, you're doing all right, for a year or two. Like, I expect us to make those changes. For me, my first expectation is in the window, we fill those holes. If we get the new ownership, by the way, which a lot of this is predicated on, there should be even with Sir Jim, there should be no excuses because of what they've pledged, and we should go out and fill those places. Then, to your point, Staffy, you watch how they play in pre-season. Our world might change.
That's if you get them before pre-season too, Terry. Sometimes we do late
signings. But again, you're missing the point. This isn't what do I think is going to happen. It's what's my expectations. And your expectation should be. None of our expectations are let's get the signings at the end of pre-season. It's I expect things quick and etc. But on Liverpool, they went from being 25 points off the top to within 1 point of winning the league and winning a Champions League inside a season. And that's my point here. I honestly think Man United can have a big jump forward, not to win the league, but I think we'll be a vastly different team next year. If we get the summer right.
And just on that as well, Staffy.
Hold on, no. What we're forgetting here. What we're forgetting here is how many teams are complete when they're competing for the league. Man City maybe are the only team in retrospect where you're like, this is actually a really complete team. But they had a season when they won the league without a striker. If you think about it, this Arsenal team, at the start of the season, I'm not picking most of them man over the man that we have. It's just the fact that they had a system in place, knew what they were doing. They were well structured. They knew what they were doing to the point where week in and week out, they were performing. Now, do I want a perfect United team where we have the first choice in every position and we know exactly who we're going to play? Football is a squad game, if we're being honest. It's not about having the definitive 11 that's going to go and challenge for everything. It's about, does the team blend well and does the team match what the manager is trying to do? With another preseason, I don't think it's too far out the question to say that this United team, with understanding better what Ten Hag actually wants to do, Ten Hag having maybe 4 or 5 of his own players, so now instead of having 3 or 4, he's got 9 or 10 in each match day squad. I don't think it's too much to say that we can compete. Will we win? Probably not. But I think competing, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, that's my expectation. My expectations is right. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, in interest of time here, this year says, now I can sleep in peace. Liverpool back to reality. Next year's ours. I heard that from 99 till 2013. I will be here. Liverpool scrape top 4 next season. I wouldn't write Liverpool off being brilliant next year. I wouldn't write them off for having a resurgence either. Uncle Neeks is spot on. Erik ten Hag said it in his first presser. We've got to knock them off their perch, and we are already ahead of Liverpool. This is all facts, Josh, my guy. Well, so much McAllister this summer. Way to go, Liverpool, is what Debbie says there. We could talk about this for hours, and I'm sure we're going to cover this more over the end of the season and over the summer as well. Boys, thank you all for coming on the show tonight. Remember to enter. You've got about 18 hours left to enter the raffle to win tickets to the FA Cup final, plus £250 spending money. Scan the QR code or click on the link in our description below. But congratulations to Man United tonight. Slapped up Chelsea 4-1 on the night, and of course secured that top 4 place. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.